Hey, all, Cinephile Mike here, and it is day 19 of Award Season Reviews, Season 3. 97 reviews in 97 days, covering many of the films contending for awards recognition this season. As many of these films are still in theaters or may be coming back to theaters as awards season picks up pace, all the information I'm providing you is current within 7 days of the recording. I will be giving you the critical response, the box office information, insights into its awards run so far, my predictions on nominations and wins based on where we are in the season, and most importantly, these reviews are always spoiler free. Make sure you also check out my website, cinephilemike.com, where you can find the Where Can I Watch It spreadsheet 2024 edition to track the nominations at all the different awards for all these different films and find out how you can watch them. There's over 160 films so far that are vying for contention, so you don't want to wait too long to get jumping on that list if you haven't already done so. So we're starting to wrap up our third theme week, doc week. We're looking at 7 documentaries vying for awards recognition. Some of these films have already received awards from the announced awards series shows, Critics' Choice Documentary Awards, the International Documentary Association, different film critic circles, and some are still waiting to hear if they will have their name announced when the Oscars announce their nominations in January. Today, like many this week, this has been a heady week. I'm going to look for some lighter documentary fare. There are a few, but this one is very important to discuss as well, and is related to some other films that I have discussed previously in other iterations of Cinephile Mike's video review series. But we'll get to that. Today I am discussing National Geographic's Sugarcane, which, unlike its name, is anything but sweet. Directed by Julian Brave NoiseCat and Emily Kassie, the film had a small theatrical release both domestically and overseas in the UK in the late summer and early fall of this year. During that run, domestically, it made $112,251. Domestically, $9,330 internationally. So currently, it's sitting with $121,581 worldwide. Though this could potentially grow should the film get re-released for the current award season. For the second time this week, Sugarcane has a 100% critical score on Rotten Tomatoes, coming from 53 reviews, and is one of the few this week that also has a popcorn meter score from over 50 audience reviews. The film is currently sitting with an 85%. Like, as I said the second time, like earlier this week, I discussed No Other Land. Sugarcane is rapidly rising into the award season conversation. It won Best Political Documentary and Best True Crime Documentary at the Critics' Choice Documentary Awards, as well as also receiving nominations for Best Documentary Feature, Best Director, Best New Documentary Filmmaker, Best Editing, Best Cinematography, and Best Historical Documentary. At the International Documentary Awards, it was a 5-time nominee for Best Feature Documentary, Best Director, Best Cinematography, Best Editing, and Best Original Music Score. And it was a Best Documentary nominee at the Gotham Awards. Also worth noting, this was named the Best Documentary of the Year by the National Board of Review. Not one of the top 5 that they named, but actually won the prize for Best Documentary. And it is currently in the running, nominated for the Truer Than Fiction Award at the Independent Spirit Film Awards. So we'll see if it takes that prize come late February. So what is Sugarcane about? First time filmmakers NoiseCat and Kassie document a 2021 discovery that chronicles generations worth of abuse and murder. In 2021, evidence of unmarked graves were found on land that was once the location of the St. Joseph's Mission. This was a residential school in Canada that the Indigenous people were more or less forced to attend, and it was run by the Catholic Church. Amongst the years the mission was open, many of the young men suffered physical abuse at the hands of the people in charge, and unfortunately, many of the young women suffered sexual assault at the hands of those in charge. And as a result of some of these cases, this led to pregnancies and children. And to say that not all of the children survived would be an understatement. And the ways in which they are no longer here is quite disturbing to hear about. See, I'm even getting choked up just reflecting on this, even though I'm reading a script that is in front of me. This is the investigation that begins as a result. NoiseCat actually puts himself one of the front and center subjects of the documentary. He tracks the investigation alongside his father, Ed, and we learn that Ed was a rare exception to some of the events that were uncovered at the St. Joseph's mission, that he is still with us. And as a result of that and some of that information, we learn that there's a bit of a fraught relationship between Ed and Julian. So this is an attempt to kind of repair some of that. We will also engage with several other currently living survivors of the St. Joseph's mission in the Canadian countryside, as old wounds are opened and not so deeply buried secrets are brought forth into the conversation. We will follow former residents of the mission and those other new citizens and new volunteers that want to uncover what happened all those years ago to look at these traumatizing chapters of recent history. And also another focus of the documentary, another subject, NoiseCat brings into the journey in the journey of Rick Gilbert, who was the one of the former chiefs of the tribe on the land, and we follow him all the way to Vatican City, where he's been invited to sit with a session with Pope Francis, recognizing the circumstances, as well as a sit down with the superior general of the missionary of Oblates of Mary Immaculate, which was the order who ran the St. Joseph mission. And try to uncover more of what we can. And from just that conversation, we will see how some members of the Catholic Church feel compelled to speak on the matter, but also we see how, again, this kind of strings from a longer systemic problem buried within the religious community. This film is really interesting because it almost plays out like a suspense thriller as each piece of the puzzle is slowly put into place and we start to uncover all of the things that happened. Molly Obomosawan Swin, my apologies if I mispronounced the name, creates this really haunting score at times to, play under the moments that are happening as we see this investigation taking place. And like the current potential Best Picture nominated film, Conclave, which I haven't spoken about yet, but that will be coming later this season. And the last film I discussed on this past season of Oscar Rewind, 2015's Best Picture winner Spotlight, NoiseCat and Kassie in this documentary are trying to, displace the cover up of the Catholic Church of these like awful atrocities that were happening and bring forth it to the light. The film doesn't shy away from people giving their firsthand accounts, and there are times when they show the lifestyle they've lived intercut with archival footage of the students in the school. And again, this, even though this is a film that sets out to show how awful this group of people is victimized, it also shows how a community can come together to try to right the wrongs and seek the reparations that they are entitled to. The people come together to conduct this investigation, and it's both inspiring as we see them make some gains and heartbreaking as we see some truths come to light. As NoiseCat is on camera for parts of the film, much of the cinematography is left to Kassie and director of photography Christopher Lamarca, who capture these gorgeous sweeping views of the Canadian landscape. And, they paint a peaceful backdrop to a story that is anything but. They mix a variety of mediums with spy shot footage, archival footage, talking head interviews, and, while it's a lot of different pieces to put together, NoiseCat and Cassie do this with almost the effect of seasoned vets, even though this is their debut feature film. And they clearly are here with a voice to be paid attention to. And regardless of what happens to them as we go through award season, I don't think this is going to be the last time we hear from these two. Without question, Sugarcane is going to be in the Oscar conversation. It is dominating award season a little bit. Could it be the winner? Way too early to tell, but assuredly, I do believe it will be one of the five nominees called when the Oscar nods come out in January. So, in all, this is a powerful film, a portrait of a community coming together to right past wrongs. I concur with my fellow critics. This is another 5-star film, a lot of 5-star films this week. Powerful, wonderful documentary to see. If you haven't seen this one yet, you actually can see this one streaming on Disney Plus and Hulu. So make sure you check out Sugarcane. That's film number 19. There's 78 to go. As always, if you like what you heard here today, please click the subscribe button, like the video, spread the word. You can follow me, Cinephile Mike, on all social media platforms and on Letterboxd. You can check out my Facebook and Instagram. I hope you're enjoying starting today. We're doing the 12 Days of Christmas Countdown. Get those short little Christmas reviews. Those are going to be a lot of fun. Until next time, everyone, this is Cinephile Mike saying take a break and watch something new.